This is the Cafe con Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Hey. We live. Yo soy Isaac.
And I'm Jeff. No, I'm kidding. I'm George.
My name is Jeff. And this?
This is the Cafe con Podcast.
It's not a gimmick, boys and girls.
It ain't a gimmick. Now, I just finished like I said, I'm not a coffee snob. I would like to be. I just don't know enough about coffee. So, listen, I love me some Starbucks. Okay? Los Bucks de las Estrellas. I love that too. And like we're starting, I really, again, I want to do a little review of coffee that I've been having. Now, in the mornings, I'm drinking my mocha because we're recording this a little bit later on in the day. But in the mornings, I've been drinking this bad boy right here. A Reverent Coffee Company out of Oakhurst, California. Look them up, everybody. I love them. This is one of my favorite coffees. We found it when we went up to Yosemite. Oakhurst is right outside of Yosemite. And this is their Ethiopia blend that they sent to me. Tasting notes: blackberry, cherry, molasses. Molasses.
Blackberry.
Like you're in Georgia. It's got blackberry, cherry, and molasses.
That sounds
And
fire.
it's a light roast.
What is
and
it?
it's,
Give us, let us know what's up with it.
So, 1 out of 10. I think that last one I think I said was like a 7.9, something like that. I think this one, I would give this one maybe like an 8.1 or an 8.2.
Ooh.
Yeah, bro. And I think the
What
last
about
one
it?
I did, Colombia was the last one. Now, the reason why I like this one, I tend to like, I realize this now, coffees, whenever I see tasting notes, I'm always like, whatever. Things with cherry in them, for whatever reason, the cherry just sits well with my palate. Again, I drink this one straight up black. I put the creatine in it. I put some collagen in there, but that doesn't really change the flavor.
Shout out Thorn. Shout out John.
Shout out Thorn. Shout out
Vivo,
Thorn. And
strength and conditioning. Let's go, baby.
Vital Peptides also, or Vital Collagen.
It's
Let's
all
go.
web.
If you guys want to sponsor, we're open.
Oh, I want to take that. How's that stuff?
Collagen? It's fine. I think it's cool. I mean, it's
You feel difference though?
I mean, I think that's more so for elasticity and your skin cells, like
Okay.
hair, for your fingernails, for things like that. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a nutritionist, or she was like a registered nutritionist or whatever, and she was saying something along the lines of collagen is one of those things in the health community that unless you take it for 10 years straight, you don't know if it's working or not. So, I mean, I've been doing it for like a year and a half, so I'm not going to stop. I'm already almost at a fifth of the way there. Might as well go all the way to 10 years. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got a good head of hair, so you good.
Yeah, but that's good genetics, baby.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna make this coffee for you so you can see what I'm talking about. I might even have them send you a batch because it's by far, in my opinion, when I'm able to get my hands on it, the most tasty coffee. I mean, I don't even know how else to describe it. I like it black, and you can taste the difference. That's the thing. You can taste the difference from the roasts. They have a
How many
subscription.
of those have you tried? How many different ones?
Oh,
So you had
man, I've
Colombia,
had Ethiopia. I've had Colombia. I've had Mexico.
Is this your favorite one?
Huh?
Is this your favorite one out of all of them?
This one, I think so.
Yeah.
Now
Sounds
you
like
bring
it.
it up. I think so. And the other
Sounds
thing
like
that's
it.
lovely is after you grind the beans, you smell it, and it smells different also. They all smell different. It's awesome, bro. It's awesome.
That's
They're
fire.
incredible. Incredible
That's
people.
fire.
They have like little handwritten notes. You can do a subscription with them, a subscription model on their website. You know, they send you 2 different roasts, you know, the roaster's choice. So they decide which ones to send you. It's really dope, man. I just really
That's fire.
can't talk enough about their business. They're awesome. Now let's talk about this episode, which was a redo because we had Chris Cox on. First and foremost, great name.
What a
Chris
name.
Cox. What a name. What a man.
CC.
C squared.
C squared.
What a fellow. What a fellow. He is so deep. Well, before I even get into that, how do you know him?
So I went to school for soccer in Pennsylvania. He went to the same school for basketball. To make a long story short, we both got to campus before all the non-athletic students or extracurricular.
NARP, non-athletic regular people, as Nick and Danae would call them.
There we go. And he lived right next to me, and next door over in our small little dorms. I mean, the thing had to be a freaking 15 by 6, bro, or 15 by 8, something like 15 by 9 at the most. And he was playing Watch the Throne. It had just come out, and I'm like, this is fire. This album, I like it. It's a fire album. I already had heard it. It sounded very familiar walking down the hall, and he was the farther door from the bathroom and the main entrance, so I had to pass by it. I didn't have to pass by it, is what I'm saying.
Was it a communal
So
bathroom that you guys had, or was it like one
yeah,
of those? So
yeah,
everybody on the floor had the same bathroom.
yeah. It was our room and board was pretty janky. I would say it's very like old town, so
Okay.
they didn't really like. We were in one of the
Shared
freshman dorms that were.
showers, all that stuff.
No, 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 no. I mean, it was showers next to each other, but they had like dividers, and then it had
Right.
just like a ¿cómo se llama? Where you
Curtain.
a curtain. That's it. But and it was like just four or five sinks all like within each other. And yeah, I keep saying I had to. I didn't have to pass by his dorm. Like I said, I was closer to the entrance to the stairs and to the bathroom, but I heard it and I was like, whoever's playing that must be a cool person. So I like walked by, I peeped in there, I saw him, getting situated with him and his family in the room, and I was like, watch the throne. I obviously asking a stupid question. He was like, yeah. It's like fire album, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, cool, man. I'm George, by the way. I'll be right back, so I gotta get some stuff settled into my dorm. And then I came back once his parents left, and we chopped it up, and we just clicked from the get go. We went to our first party together. First party I eventually got to DJ my freshman year. He met his now wife. It was they. You would have thought they would have known each other for a long time. They just gelled. It was cool. We mentioned another episode before how that's like a badge of honor for me. But great guy, consistent guy, comes from a good family, a good upbringing. Love his mindset. He's got the juice, man. He's got the swag, and it's just the guy is just a pleasure to be around. He champions his friends, and that's how we met, and we became roommates our sophomore year. We knew we wanted to be roommates after that, and we've stayed in touch ever since. Love his wife, super funny. Just a cool couple, man. It's a blessing to have them in my life, and to just stay in touch. You want to stay in touch with those type of people, and you don't want to. And it's not like because you feel like you need to know, you want to, and it's a blessing to know Chris. So that's that pretty much.
For anybody who is in the midst of a crossroads in life, for anybody who is needing some sort of direction, this episode is for you. This episode, the reason why is because you're not alone. And we really cover a lot of wise subjects, in my opinion. And not that I'm saying that we're wise, but what I mean is these were not superfluous topics. These were things that were real. And he asked us some questions that I was like, yo, people, that I have to stop and think for a second here because that was amazing. But he covers everything. First off, he works in the fundraising department at Columbia. He talks about pivoting in life. He's such an astute individual, both internally and externally. He just speaks on certain things that we all go through in life, which is we're having to pivot, understanding the power in the moment and who you have around you. We talk a lot about what a blessing it is if you're blessed enough to still have your parents. It's a blessing to be able to have them, what you've learned from them, how our mindset changes from when we're young to when we're older now. I mean, it covers all sorts of things. So I really think this is applicable to anybody. I know I've said that before, but I really believe that this episode can benefit people a lot, especially people that are feeling as if there's a crossroads in your life coming up. So that's what I'll say, because I don't want to give too much away. I want your little ears. I want your little caffeinated ears to feel to feel it all. Ooh,
That makes me
feels
think too,
good.
like for those that are listening, like whatever you're going through, and I'm not saying this to like just be like suck it up. No, it's more so of like whatever you're going through, either someone has gone through what you're going through or felt what you felt. So it's like, no, you're not alone, and know that if other people have felt that and they've made their way through it, you can too. You know, whatever is thrown your way, it's you can manage. And if you needed sometimes to take your cape off, we talked about that about our parents. That's okay too. Fall into that nurturing ecosystem of your support system, your loved ones. It's okay, to be vulnerable and stuff, and just know that like time doesn't stop, like he said, but you can learn from the past and use your time more wisely. That's what I took from it. That's
What was that
you know
Sanfa? What was that Sanfa bar that he had? Which was, we can't go back in time, but we can
Mhm.
move forward in time more slowly. Something like that. It was
Yeah.
so that was, and basically what that means is just be more mindful of each moment that's passing. Don't let 5 years go by and be like, what happened those 5 years? Try and be as present as possible, which is, again, the goal every day, but just a gentle reminder.
We love y'all.
We love
Don't
you
forget.
guys.
And don't forget.
And never, if you forget, remember.
This is the Cafe con Podcast.
Caca. Love you
Everyone
guys.
have a happy holidays
Happy holidays. I don't know when this is coming out, but if you've already had the holiday, have an even happier day. Love you.
and a wonderful 2024.
Drink cafecito, and we love you guys. Rolling.
Let's go. It's felt so long, man.
I
I know,
know.
man.
This is a long time coming.
Back
Long
at it.
time. Cheers.
Back
Cheers.
at it.
Cheers. This is
No
my
coffee, you're right.
well, I know you guys are a little bit further ahead of me, but this is my second cup for today. Where'd I put my phone?
My first and only one.
My phone around here? Oh, there it is.
And we back. How y'all boys doing?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Sheesh. Trying to get like
Survived
you,
another
Chris.
year. I don't know about that, bro. Survived another year, man. So everything's good. How y'all feeling?
Good, man. Good.
I'm good, bro. I have I started, since the last time we talked, I started doing jujitsu, and I went on Friday, and
Work.
I thought I strained my back, and then I like get home and my shit's popping out. Like I have like a rib or something that keeps
Oh,
popping out. So
hey.
I'm chill. I'm good. I talked to the chiropractor though, because I started going to this chiropractor. He's like, "Oh, bro, you're good. It's just do these exercises. It might be like cartilage or ligaments or a part of your rib that's popping out, but if you do these, it'll be fine. If you need to come in, just come back in and we'll get it in place."
I love
So
how
Are you in
Isaac's
pain?
like, I'm good. I just got a
Yeah, that's
freaking
wild.
bum like injury right now.
no,
Are you in pain?
occasionally, not all the time. it's
Damn.
it's a hazard. It's the name of the game, baby. It's the cost to play the game. So it is what
Oh,
it
for
is.
sure. For sure.
But aside from that, bro, I'm alive. I can breathe okay. It's just if I sneeze, sometimes some shit will click in and out, and I'm like, ooh, that was a little different. But
Yeah.
Trying to go
it is
full
what it is,
screen.
bro. You just,
That's,
you live and you learn. I think
of
that's
course.
a lesson for me to not do what I was doing next time.
Yeah.
You know,
Was it a certain moment that you realized what happened, or was it like
bro.
gradually? Was it gradual?
I no, there was a certain moment, and I thought I just strained my back. Right, so there was a moment. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I remember right after I was like, I tapped, and then, because I have no shame in tapping. If somebody's torquing me, I let me learn.
Yeah.
I don't need to get anything
You
out
don't
of
need to
out
go
of
to sleep.
socket.
Nothing to
So
prove.
yeah, exactly. I'll tap, and then I remember I was like stretching. I was like, oh, my back, and I just remember I was being like turned this way, but then my body was getting twisted in another way. And then after, I was like, ooh, I think I just strained my back. And then I went again with another guy after that. I went another 7 minutes or however long the rounds are. And after that, I was like, oh, God, my back is in pain. But I didn't feel it till I hit the car. Because then I was driving, and then like I went over a
Adrenaline.
bump, and it was like click clack, and I was like,
Adrenaline.
ooh, you know,
That's
like
exactly
I
what
could
that is.
hear it go click clack, and I was like,
Oh,
woohoo, that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It's all good though, bro. It's we're here, boys. Enough
Injuries
about
are the name of the
me.
game.
Enough about me and my Adam and Eve problems with my ribs. Let's
Good transition. I like that.
let's get to how are you doing, Chris? This has
Yeah,
been a
man.
long
Man.
time
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
For sure. Man,
For
everything
those who
is
don't know,
great.
his first episode went into oblivion because we were working on some boo boo. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
the brand or any other company, but
Yeah.
we're here now. We're here
No.
now. So
Yeah,
round
unless
two.
they're paying you, don't shout them out.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
there you go. So go on, Chris. Go on, Chris.
Yeah, bro. Like everything's been good since the last time we talked. We talked about a lot last time. Just introducing myself, but here we are at the end of a year. Been a lot of ups and downs. Definitely more ups and downs, which is great. But taking everything I learned from this year, first year in my 30s, and carrying that into every year moving forward. So extremely grateful. Happy to talk to you guys. Thanks for inviting me on here. But yeah, man, everything's cool. Everything's cool.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah.
Good seeing
Always
you.
good to see you.
It
man.
is.
I'm proud of you,
Always.
man. I'm proud of you,
Always.
man.
I'm
Honestly.
proud of y'all too, man. You didn't tell me you had a wifey, George.
I mean, yeah. I met somebody.
Oh,
someone special.
we're getting into it. I
We
thought
keep
we were
that
gonna
off the
get into
pot.
that a little bit later on down the line. I was gonna
No, we
bring that
good.
up like half an hour in, but you know what? If we want to, what you want to
We
do,
can't.
George?
I ain't ashamed. You know,
I
we
ain't
can talk about it.
ashamed.
Talk
I
about it.
Better not
understand.
be. Better not
How's
make
it
it like
feeling,
that.
bro? How you feeling?
Chris got the juice ready already.
I
see
know.
it
I
already.
saw it.
He's about to get
Yeah, we
into it.
cracking it. We
I
cracking
need to
it right
get some of
now.
those. I want to see what that's all
Come
about.
through, man.
Let's
We
go
get into it
again.
now, or you guys want to
Do what?
I mean, no, Chris the guest. Chris the guest. We can chop it up with Chris if you want for now. I mean,
Yo, it's
No,
however y'all want to rock, man.
nah. Don't run. Let Chris get on his juice, and then you. But in the
yeah.
meantime, what's going on, George? Let's just get into that. Let's
Cheers,
not go.
fellas. Cheers.
Salud, salud,
Uh,
señor.
cheers,
Bendiciones.
cheers. More life.
More life.
I met somebody, man. I met somebody, and things are going great. You know, just trying to be more intentional with things in life and just life in general, and it's getting the reaping the benefits of it. You know.
What do you mean? What do you mean more intentional in this sense? What does that mean? What does that look like? It doesn't. You don't have to have the right answer, but what does that look like for you?
I mean, it's just
because you
more
brought
so
that up.
just like not overthinking things and just making a decision. Like it's not even like, you know, when you go through the options of decisions to make in life, they're all probably good ones. That's probably why sometimes I get stuck of like, what should I do? But it's just more of just living my truth and like not that I've ever been ashamed about like what I try to do in life, but just being more of just like owning the decisions I've made of like who I want to date and how I want to go about it and like
Mm-hmm.
why I want to date that person. Because, you know, there's times where I was younger and it's okay to be that way because it's phases of life, but there's times where you date, but you don't know why. You're just doing it to do it, you know?
Yep.
Everybody's dating. Everybody's just trying to, especially in our society these days, it's just like you can go down that rabbit hole or just, you know, ride that wave of just like, just to be out, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was maybe my 30th birthday, just because, like, I mean, I didn't hit a crisis, but I definitely hit, like, a shift of, like, we're entering a new decade of our lives.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I want for this decade in my life?
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to Isaac about it on previous episodes, and it's like, we have finally, from 20 to 30, have lived a decade of not being an adolescent.
Yeah.
But then that's just, like, at the same time, you're 20, so you're still trying to, like, hold on to that youthfulness of just, like, you know, throwing caution to the wind and just enjoying yourself. But now it's more so just, you know, there's a time and place for everything now, and you can't be having fun all the time, you know. And you could, but then like at the end of it, you're just like constantly chasing that endless path, and it's just like, where do I want my life to go towards? So it's just
Right.
it's going well, man. Like, you know, her and I connect on a lot of things, and we were both in a place where we were both happy before we met each other, and I think that was super important. You know, like I feel like I'm going down the right path of like the person I'm becoming, and
Yeah.
everything's slowly coming together. And when I met her, I told her, I was like, I don't know what it was at first, but looking back now, it's like you were good with yourself, you know.
Mhm.
And I dated people in the past where they weren't good with themselves, and then that just
Yeah.
bleeds into the dynamics of trying to make things work out. So
Mhm.
I think
no,
there's
no,
a
I'm being a little cryptic. Obviously, I'm being a little cryptic, but that's just the gist of it.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
That's not cryptic. That was
Okay, okay,
very specific. That's how you
okay.
I
feel.
mean,
That's what we asked. You want what's the intentionality behind it? That was beautiful, bro. And I think that there's something to be said about there's like an attractiveness and there's a comfort in confidence. When somebody oozes confidence in who they are, and I've said this so many times before, and I've taken it from Matthew McConaughey, but you start to figure out who you are by understanding who you're not, right? So when somebody has that confidence in who they are as well as who they're not, there's
Mhm.
this sense of clarity has been one of the biggest words that has been coming up in my life since I hit 30. Are you 92, Chris? By the way, are you born 1992 or 93?
93. 93.
Okay, and GM, you're 92 and I'm 92. My birthday's
I'm
actually coming
92.
up 4
Yep,
days, fellas. My
yep.
birthday's in 4
Sheesh.
days, and my wife's birthday.
What's
We both have the same birthday, which is
what's
wild.
the plan?
I got no plan, bro. That's man. I
Come back
look.
home.
Yeah, come
Come
back.
back home
Go
to your
back.
family.
Going back to the place, the birthplace, and just honestly, dude. Every single year when our birthdays come up, I just want to be around my people, like
Yeah.
I'm not
Mhm.
into going out and doing anything crazy anymore.
Mhm.
I don't mind meeting at a bar, but I just like to like be around my people and laugh and
For sure.
have that
Mhm.
kind of environment.
Mhm.
I don't know, bro. I'm not like the big. My 30th was wild though. That
Mhm.
I like people jumped in the pool with clothes on and shit. It was wild. It was too
Yeah.
wild in my opinion. But
I
that's
had
actually a
Let's
aunties.
good
just take
I
it too
had
question.
long.
aunties
Oh,
twerking on.
bro.
I felt like a Chippendale that night,
Yeah,
bro.
this
I felt
that
like going
yeah,
crazy
that's what
that
I mean.
night.
The fam Miami, yeah. We'll leave that at cryptic. That was a cryptic night
I can
as
only
well.
imagine, man.
And let's just
I
say
can
that
only
there's a
imagine.
song, It's Raining Men came on, and it was raining men. So, anyways, moving on from that crazy story. That's actually something I wanted to ask you, Chris. What I don't know if we talked about this last time. What maybe we did.
So,
What was a shift, something that you've observed from your 20s to then entering your 30s? Like what is something that has maybe surfaced itself or maybe not? Like what's something that you've noticed that shifted in you, if anything has shifted?
for thing shifting in me specifically, I gotta think about that a little bit
Yeah, it
more.
doesn't have to be deep, bro. It doesn't have to
No,
be deep.
from what I will
That was
say,
just something
what
I
I
like to
will
ask.
say is, yeah, no, that's great. What I do realize is like the margin for error switching from your 20s to your 30s is a lot slimmer, right? Like
Yeah.
the quote unquote the mistakes that you make, or I don't even want to call them mistakes because everything happens for a reason and there's no such thing as coincidence, but the decisions that you make are harder to recover from if they're not in your best interest as opposed to your 20. You can easily just bounce back and like shrug things off. You have a lot more, I want to say, responsibility in your 30s, and obviously it doesn't necessarily switch like, okay, I'm 30 now, like the responsibilities are all
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of just like these situations that you place yourself in. um, and for me, my transitions from my 20s to my 30s, I've placed myself in certain situations where I do have more responsibilities now. And like I said, I realized that if a plan doesn't go according to play, and I don't have a plan B for it, like I feel it a lot more than being in my 20, let's say I was 21 or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Did you feel like your 20s took a long time to go by, or do you feel like it just happened in a flash?
Man, I feel like my 20s flew by. It
Me too,
really just
bro.
flew by.
That's me
Yeah,
too,
like
doc. That's why.
yeah, one day you're in college and you remember the day you turned 21 because it's like the biggest day of your of your quote unquote young life.
Yeah.
You go out, you buy that alcohol, like you feel like a complete adult, right? And then there's everything in the middle to where like you graduate, you get that first job, you go through this, you go through that. But like when I look at it, my mid 20s, it's kind of just like, yeah, a lot definitely happened because it's 9 years between that. But same time, it's like what really happened. You know what I
Bro,
mean? Like
yeah.
what really
College
transpired.
went by fast, dude. When we were at
College
Dickinson, that
was
went by
so quick.
fast, man.
Yeah, man. It did.
Fast. After freshman
Um,
year, I was like, it
Oh,
slingshotted.
maybe we should give a little recap too. So,
oh, word,
how
word,
did
word.
you come into this circle? Because the first one got lost in translation, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how did you come into this whole cloud? Talk about you and George Michael and how you guys know each other.
For sure, man. So I got dropped off early at Dickinson College, which is where we both went to school.
In PA, Dickinson in PA,
In
right?
PA, yep, small liberal school. My mom and my dad had to move my sister in to her dorm like the following day. So they dropped me off a day early, worked it out, whatever the case may be. So I stayed in the hotel, and then I walked myself over to my room after that. And the first person I meet in the dorm was George, and George was right next door to me. Again, like I don't know anybody. I only talk to people like on the Facebook group chat kind of stuff. Um, but there was George, like just a very, very like inviting person. And just like a little bit of context, Carlisle is it's a really white town. So, you know, you go around, you see all these Confederate flags, you see
Is that
just a
where
whole bunch of
Dickinson
white
is?
It's in Carlisle,
Carlisle,
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah.
off, but I had
Yeah.
never
No,
heard
no,
that. Okay,
all good.
continues.
All good.
So you walk around,
So
you see all this. Yeah.
all these Confederate flags, just a whole bunch of white faces, and I'm like, damn, like I'm really here by myself. And then I walk into the dorm, and there's George, and like George is just blasting familiar music, like I love like hip hop, all that kind of
Yeah, I
stuff.
was
I'm
gonna
like,
say
oh shit,
bless
like
your
all right,
rap.
like
Let's go.
yeah, I'm like, all right, like here's some part I can relate to, right? But just
NWA.
the
While he's no, I'm just kidding.
exactly. And not for real. Like George had his music. I mean, you know, he's a DJ, so like his music is diverse. Like he
Yeah,
played
yeah,
all. He
for
played
sure,
R&B,
for
he played the
sure.
hard jams, techno. But just the most warm-hearted person like ever. Like no standoffish energy. It's kind of like, bro, like what's up? Same way he is right now. Like where you from? Like my you guys are like you come in my room anytime. Like I don't even know you, George. Like what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But we just clicked up, man. We were so close. We did so many things together. And just because like you're on different teams and stuff like that, like you usually gravitate towards your team. But for George, he kind of just like went with whatever, like wherever the good energy was, like he was going. Wherever the bad energy was, like he's not a part of that. And
Nah.
there's so many
We're not
negative
with her.
people that
We don't do no herd thinking. We don't do no.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. There's so many negative people, especially like that you'll meet in your life, but like particularly when you're confined to a campus, you kind of like figure out where you want to go, who you want to be, who you want to be in a group with. And George, like, he figured that out early. He was just like, yo, I don't fuck with this person. No offense, but like,
Yeah.
that's just not me. Like, now I'm not going to go to this party. They're doing that. That's not me. But I'll do this if you want to do this kind of thing. And, you know, here we are.
Yeah, 10 years later. That's the
Yeah,
other
10
thing
years
that's
later.
crazy, bro.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on. You said your parents moved your sister in. Do you have a twin sister? You said that they were moving her into a dorm?
Nah, she's not my twin sister. She's 2 years older than me.
Oh, okay, got you.
She low key your
actually,
twin
now,
though. You low key like metaphorically, I would say.
I don't know if she much. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if she was moving in. Maybe she was going ready to study abroad. She might have been getting ready to study abroad at that time. So it's kind of like they had to like prepare her to get ready to study abroad.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, packing all her stuff, bringing her to the airport.
I say that though because you guys do bond on a level that's rare, I would say.
Oh no, my sister's my dog. My dog. Like we
That's why I
weren't
said like you guys kind of like twins. Like
yeah, we weren't the closest people growing up, but like something clicked. I want to say like my senior year of high school. We just got like really close, and it was like since then, like I got a
that's been
tattoo
my
on me on my
experience
arm.
every time I've seen her.
Nice.
Like I
Yeah.
mean, I met her after that year, our freshman year,
Yeah,
and you all looked like you were just really
yeah, man.
close,
She's
like
dope.
cool with each other. And I was like, that's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, she's dope.
I
To
think
this
that
day,
happens.
I don't make any
you-
decisions without asking her.
That happens when you get older too, right? Where
Yeah.
you kind of like, even with the people in your family that you might have had pressure with, or all, you know, just people in general. And then you start to see it from a different perspective as you get older, and you're like, oh, maybe, you know, there's a lot more things that are similar between us rather than the things that separate us.
Oh, for sure.
It's something that I've noticed a lot anyways. What are you drinking also, by the way? Let's recap that with what you're drinking.
We can recap that, man. So
Are they sponsoring
This-
you?
They
they're
should.
not sponsoring. I don't think they're going to sponsor me, but it's okay. Like I will put the money in for this every single time. So I call this bark. The reason I call it bark is because it's derived from a plant. The original plant is called bazi root. It's a Chinese flower. They mix this with a couple different things. Like they put goji berries in it, which is a superfood, like good for energy. A whole bunch of different roots. They don't necessarily tell you the ingredients because they don't want you to make it yourself. But for this, it's anti-inflammatory. I still drink, but when I drink this, I don't get the hangovers, and it feels like more of a high than a drunk. So you feel just extremely, extremely happy. Like everything's all good. I've never had a bad experience drinking this. Like you're in a sense of like euphoria. So this is crazy because like I take it in 4 shots. So they all come in this 4 right here. And you know how like, when you drink alcohol, you're like, oh, maybe 3 old fashions and like I'll be feeling them. Maybe 4 old fashions. Like I drink the same amount.
If I have 4 old fashions, bro, if I have 4 old fashions, I'm good after 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I have 1, I'm like, all right, I feel all right. I have 2, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling nice. If I have 4, I'm there, bro.
Yeah,
I am there.
I
Bring it
got
back
you.
into the PTSD of the Long Islands. No, no pun intended.
Oh my God.
I didn't know what Long Island was until I got to college because of you guys.
Yeah. Crazy. But with these, like I drink the same amount every single time, like just 4 shots, and I feel the same way after 4, like every single time.
And you don't feel any after effects the next day.
No after effects at all. I mean, there was only one time where I tried to get ahead of myself because my friend is like, he's the one who put me onto this. He's been drinking it for a while since he was a kid. He's 40 something years old now. But me and him kind of like went toe to toe one day, and he was just like, keep drinking. That's the only day where like I threw up at night. I was feeling it the next day. But that was maybe we had to do like 25, 30 shots. So,
but there's alcoholic content in it then, yeah?
Yeah, it's fermented. Yeah. A little
I was going to say it's fermented kind of like rice wine. It's kind of like sake. Okay, that's what I got. Yeah. Oh,
but
that
other
sounds
stuff
so
too,
fire.
ginseng, ginger.
Ooh.
It's real stuff, man.
It's like a nice tea. It's like an alcoholic mixture of it reminds me of a tea more than anything with all the stuff that you're talking about in it.
It doesn't taste like a tea. It's very potent. It's very, very strong. So it's an acquired taste too. Like I've given it to people and they're just like, oh, like it smells like
super earthy.
Like
I was gonna say super earthy.
Super earthy. Smells
Smells
like
gingery or like it's just like a little feel of ginger.
Depends on the shot. So not every shot is mixed with ginger. So for example, this one right here is like it's called Tiger Bone. You guys can look that up. This shot is a lot stronger than the last one I just took. This was just like a pure ginger shot with some alcohol in it. So
and you don't chase anything with pure ginger? You could just take pure ginger like that?
Just a pure ginger shot.
Your tolerance for that kind of stuff is intense.
I was drinking it for a while, bro. And it's also like it's crazy because you drink it in a specific order. Like they put it in the cup in an order that you're supposed to drink it in. You don't drink it out of that order, which is like the wild thing. Like, it's wild. It's down to a science. You guys are incredible. They're Rastafarians. They've been doing this for so long, and sometimes I want to just go back and sit down with them and have them put me on game and teach me about it. They're also not open to giving you all their secrets, so they say very limited things. But I love it.
That's
man.
how it should be. You got to keep things sacred.
Yeah.
And where do you get
Chris,
this at?
I know. Go ahead.
So there's a place in Harlem. I'm not going to give up the exact location, but there's a place. You can't find it everywhere because everywhere has different kinds. But the place that I get this from is in Harlem. It's been around for a while. I will say that a lot of like celebrities have gone there. So like Carmelo's in there, Ron Strickland's on there. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but Diddy went in there maybe like 2 months ago. So
did you say Mello and then Rod Strickland? Rod Strickland,
yeah.
Bro,
he goes in there.
Got some legends in there.
For sure, yeah. What they do is they just go drink, and then they set up a little chair on the outside of it, and they just chill, bro. And just
I love that, bro. New York, dog. There's nothing like New York.
That's exactly what it is, yeah, man.
What were you gonna ask George Michael? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know you're good. I mean, I was gonna say, oh yeah, I know we maybe touched on the last time we spoke, Chris, on here, but I mean, obviously you've been a healthy guy like your whole life. We're both athletes and stuff, but and I noticed it maybe, I don't know when or where, but like, when do you think you started to like really pivot on like this health journey you've been on? Because I realized like a couple years ago, maybe kind of, right?
Longer than a couple years. I'd say the year after I graduated, man. The year after I graduated, because it's like, and you know this, George, like, and Isaac, you probably know this too. Like, when nobody's telling you, you got to get up and go practice, or like, you got to get up and go to the weight room, you got to go up and get these reps in and stuff like that. You're kind of forced to do it yourself. Well, you are forced to do it yourself. So for me, I was like, damn, like, what is my motivation for doing this right now? And like, I didn't like the working out stuff, like yeah, like I can do that, but it's also not going to be as intense as when I was running up and down the court, or like when you were running up and down the field, George. It's just not the same. So for me, I was like, well, how do I maintain my body, not putting on all that work running, but like just doing something different? So I decided to switch my diet up and went more plant based. And for me, like my wife will tell you, she wrote me a letter one day. She was like, eat more vegetables because I hated eating veggies, bro. Like any sort of veggie, I was like, anything green, I was not for it. But for me, switching my diet up forced me to eat different things, and then just like blew up my palate to the point where I was able to like, oh, I like that. Like I like Brussels sprouts, I like asparagus, I like spinach. And it just it was like it just became a lifestyle, man. So to this day, still plant based. Definitely don't eat meat. Rare occasions, like for Christmas, yeah, because my wife's family and my family will also cook like meat, so I'm gonna do it for the day, and then the day after that, it's like right back to my regular lifestyle. But yeah, I feel great. I feel amazing.
What does an eating schedule look like for you? Like, what do you eat? I'm always interested in this because I have,
good question.
and George knows this as well. I've always had like digestive issues, so I'm always trying. I do a lot of intuitive eating. Whatever makes my body feel good, I will do because I've always had intestinal issues. But what do you typically eat in a day? I know that it might vary, but what's like breakfast look like for you?
Yeah, so it like you said, it just depends on the day. If I'm gonna do breakfast and like I'm not eating because my wife is a cook in my house and she's a phenomenal cook. She eats meat, but like she can really cook plant-based stuff. But she wakes up a lot later than me. So if I'm waking up and I'm hungry and she's not gonna cook for me, I'll go on to work. I'll just do like a green juice in the morning. Pressed is my favorite place. Like if you guys ever heard of Pressed, I don't know.
Of course,
Yeah.
bro. I have one just opened up right next to the crib right here. They have so many
There
of
we
them
go.
out here, bro. Their
Yeah,
matcha. Have you had their
yeah.
matcha flavored cold? It's like a froyo. Have you had their froyo?
Nah.
Oh,
Uh-uh.
bro, it is so fire. It's
Okay, I gotta
so
try that out.
fire. Yeah.
I
Okay, so
gotta
you have
try
a
that out.
green juice. Do you like intermittent
I was,
fast at all? Is that something that you do?
I don't. I don't. And I know it works for some people. For me, it's just I try to eat less of a bulky meal in the morning and more so towards like the afternoon
Yeah.
slash like early afternoon because I eat a lot. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just freaking wait until 3 p.m. to eat just
Yeah.
because I want
Yeah.
to intermittent fast. Like I'm gonna eat when I'm hungry, but when I'm hungry, like I'm gonna eat a lot. So I'll typically eat around like 12. And it really just depends. Like I love sweet green too. Like I'll eat a very,
Oh
very
my
loaded
God,
salad.
bro, you're fucking
Yeah,
literally. That's
sweet green my
where
shit,
whenever we
bro.
order food out, I mean, I eat meat, so I'll either go to Chipotle
Yeah,
or Sweet Green.
yeah,
Those are usually my two
yeah.
places that I just go to.
Amazing, man.
And Sky,
Amazing
my
salad.
wife, loves a Sweet Green, obsessed with
Yep,
it.
yep. Yeah, it's so. I mean, it's expensive, but it's just like
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay for. Like, if there's one thing I'm
It's
gonna do,
worth
I'm gonna
it.
pay for food. I'm
You're
gonna pay for
investing in
food.
yourself. You're investing in
Yeah,
yourself.
but there's also plenty of vegan restaurants and places around New York City, bro, where like if I'm not in the mood for a salad or sweet green, like I can just get some sort of meat substitute that's just probably
little
not the
falafel,
best for me, but tastes. I love falafel too. Yeah, I love
falafel.
falafel too. Yeah, falafel wrap. Kava has like a falafel like once again it's like a big burrito bowl, so it's another
That's
place too.
fire. Kava's
Do y'all have like a
Um,
fire.
Greek town in New York?
what?
Like a Greek town?
Uh, I
'Cause I
don't
know
know if we have
Chicago they
necessarily.
do.
I don't know if we have a Greek town, but New York is so diverse. I'm sure we do. I just haven't like
Yeah.
been there, but we have everything over here. You know what I'm saying? We have everything. It's just a
Are
matter
you
of
Chris, you
still?
made
choosing.
Are you?
me go ahead.
Sorry, George. Go.
No, tranquilo, you know.
I was gonna say, are you still working at Columbia?
Yeah, I'm still working at Columbia.
Okay,
Still working at
because
Nice.
that's
Columbia. Um,
where in the city is Columbia?
so Columbia is on Morningside Heights. It's very, very close to Harlem.
Okay.
Um, and again, like Harlem and Morningside Heights are completely different places. And like Harlem's very, very cultural. So I love during the summertime when it's not cold. Like I'll just take a 20-minute walk into Harlem, and that's where like all the stuff that's where I get this from. Like I'll just walk to Harlem. I'll grab this for lunch, and then I'm just like vibing out for the rest. Like I'm still able to do work, but I'm just like vibing for the rest of the day, bro. It's
What are you
incredible.
doing at Columbia? To recap what you do at Columbia.
Yeah, so
Question.
I'm a fundraiser. I'm an athletic fundraiser. So basically, like you have a lot of boosters for different programs that want to give money towards, like let's say basketball, right? Like it's my job to really collect that money and talk to them about like what initiatives are going on in the basketball world and how they can be effective with their donations. So Columbia being an Ivy League school, like there's tons of money out there from people who go on to have like, I don't want to say more successful careers than other people, but they're in high paying jobs because they have a very high paying degree, right? From a notorious institution. So I've been doing that for the last 4 years. And soon it's going to be time to pivot. But for right now, it's very rewarding work. You get to meet a lot of people. You might want to cut that part out on the podcast.
Whatever we say here, no, honestly, we always talk about after we read it.
Yeah, whatever you.
But,
I mean, you didn't say anything compromising right there, but you just meet a lot of meet a lot of high profile people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an Ivy League school, of course. What I was going to say is you have more access coming from a place like that. When you graduate from an Ivy League school, I have somebody's very close to my family, and he told me, he was like, I went to Harvard for the piece of paper. I didn't go because I liked the environment or I liked, the people per se. I went there for the piece of paper, and that grants you access. So I'm sure that's
100%.
kind of the same deal or something along those lines in Columbia. You know what I'm saying?
100, exactly, man, exactly. But like I said, it's
Does
not the
this
end all
job
be all.
require a lot of traveling?
So no, if I was like a frontline fundraiser is basically like you're getting out on the road, like asking those people. I'm more so behind the scenes doing like the marketing, like the emailing, the like direct mail pieces. But when I was doing it at Dickerson, which is, a school that me and George went to, like I was traveling a lot and like getting out on the road to meet different people. That's cool, man, because you can go anywhere. Like you can go to, one time I went to Denver, like I went to LA, you can go international. And like you're spending money on the company's eye, basically just going to ask people for money, and like you have no control over it. Like you're either going to give it or not. Like your words really have no bearing on the decision that these people are going to make, and they're giving it like philanthropy is so interesting because yes, there's a tax component to it, but at the same time, like they can give it to so many different charities. It's like I was doing financial advising and like wealth management at Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley. And like when people give you their money, they're giving it to you for a return. For this, they're just giving it to you for more so for like bragging rights.
Like an emotional appeal. There's a lot of emotional
connection.
Yeah.
So like you're just chopping the shit with these people, shooting the shit with these people. You ask them for $20,000, they were going to give $20,000 anyway. It's kind of just like they want to feel good. You got to butter them up, and then like that's really it.
That's nuts, dude.
That is, bro. That's so wild. So there's a certain amount of sales and sort of persuasion that's involved in that. What kind of tactics? I'm always so baffled. Well, not baffled, interested in this. What kind of tactics would you say that you used when you would have to talk to these people, right? Like, how did you maneuver that?
Just always, being a people's person, as you guys both are, is like the number one skill, right? So you kind of got to read personalities. You got to be able to adapt to the situation. For college athletics, like people like to act like they know more than what they actually know. So, for example, if let's say the softball team or something like that is doing bad, like the person likes to act like the donor likes to act like they know what kind of kids should be recruited and what the coach should be doing, and you kind of just gotta lean into that and be like, yeah, like I completely understand where you're coming from. Or, that's just make
even though in your head you're kind of like you have no idea what you're talking about, bro.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, and like that's resonates with them. Like, hey, this person's pretty cool. Like Chris, he's like one of my friends. So there's all that kind of stuff. You just read the room, read personalities, make people feel good, and they feel like a instant connection with you. So,
and God bless them, bro. People that donate that kind of stuff. I mean, sports is one of the most important, in my opinion. That builds people's understanding of how to interact in communities, and people, a lot of athletes, as both of you guys know, you go to school for athletics and you leave doing something completely different than in athletics. So it's very important to have that connection to that, for people to get opportunities to go to school. Even if that's through athletics and they go and do something else afterward, that's still super important, man. God bless those donors.
For sure.
Good for them, man. If they got 20 racks to throw down, God bless them, bro.
Yeah, but dog, the crazy thing is like college athletics has changed so much since we've all been in school. It's like now with the NIL stuff, like not a school like Columbia because we're Ivy League, like nobody's really going to the pros or anything like that. But let's say a school like LSU or something like that, like that 20 racks, like it's not going to the program anymore. Like it's going to get this kid paid. Like, yo, we got to get that recruit. So like, what's up? Throw him 100 bands. Throw him 100 bands to get him here. And then the crazy thing is like, damn, that kid might not stay. Like he might take that 100 bands and then transfer the next year. Like, it's wild.
Who was talking? Was it what's this guy's name? Ryan Day from OSU. I forget who it was that was saying, but they were like a top tier QB cost $2 million to bring him in. I might be fudging up the numbers there, but that's insane. It's free agent. It's free agent stuff. Put your mic closer to your mouth, George Michael, because you sound a little bit far away. But that's just insane. Yeah, you sound a lot better now. It's insane how much college athletics is like the pros now. And Angel Reese was saying from LSU, she was saying, why would I declare for the draft when I'm making more money in college than I would in the pros? It's
that's an
unreal.
Like, women's sports in particular, but like women's basketball, they don't get paid a lot, which is why like they're going overseas in the summertime and off season to make more money. But yeah, like she's making more than some of the WNBA players. So why would she declare for the draft? Like she's getting paid from endorsements. LSU got to cut her a check, like all that kind of stuff. She's good. Why would any college player that knows they're not going to be a first round draft pick or anything like that declare for whatever professional league like they're going to go to when they can just stick around for 4 years, get a degree, and get paid for 4 years handsomely, like
and get a degree, bro. It's so true.
Not that they care
just
about the degree, but like
they being that big fish.
Just
they being that big fish in that ecosystem.
Yep.
Yeah. Life is about momentum, bro. And if you have that momentum, you got to keep it going.
100%.
We gotta milk it till there's none left in it. Chris, I know we maybe talked about this as well before, but from the question I asked before, it kind of made me think about it again. Was because you talked about how like no one's telling you to get up anymore, like you're not fighting for like a starting spot, in college. How was that transition from like 4 years of just intensity and like especially the sports we played that we were in some of the top sports in our college, because our school wasn't really successful in football. So I feel like the basketball, soccer, cross country team, maybe another sport or two, lacrosse was very we were the big guys on campus as for like our success rate. How was that transition from like I said, like waking up every day and like you're fighting for a spot to where like no one's telling you now like, yo, you got to get up and keep some form of lifestyle or like schedule of staying in shape or just staying healthy and like hitting the gym, eating right? Because I knew for me it was tough, man. Like it was tough that now you don't have that thing anymore that brought you that swagger and that confidence to like, I put that work in and then I go on campus and I'm like with my chest out, like, yo, but you put the work into it, so it's like, how was it to like, there was a little, was there a void or anything? Was it hard to deal with that first, you think, for you, or how'd it go for you?
Bro, I think when you stop playing sports ultimately, like at any level, whether you're like a pro about to retire, whether you're like in high school not playing anymore after college, whether you're in college and you're not going on to play at the next level and you're done playing, I think there's an identity crisis that goes on in between that kind of time, because for so long in your life you identify like as I'm a basketball player, I'm a soccer player, I'm a football player, I'm a swimmer, or like whatever the case may be, that when you remove that component of your life you really don't know what to like call yourself. So for me, like I spent so much time like putting in work in basketball and like the off season and doing these things to make me a better like basketball player, that after it was all said and done I was like, damn, like I can no longer call myself a basketball player because I'm really not. Like I don't play for anybody. I'm not trying to play at the next level.
It's hard to do that, right? How to come to grips with that.
Exactly. But then it's like, what is your real passion? And the more I thought about it and to where I am now, like basketball took me a lot of places, but like I love basketball, but basketball wasn't who I am. What I really, really loved is I just love like physically exerting myself. Like that's what I really, really love. And those are the things I'm going to be able to do like for the rest of my life. So if anybody talks about basketball right now, like, am I reminiscent of like all those times? Kind of, not really. I have tons of friends that play professionally overseas and stuff like that. So like, I'm still around the game and still knowledgeable. But like what I really love and get a kick out of is just like the pushing my body to exhaustion and like challenging myself in that way, because I still do that like to this day in the gym, like different avenues and stuff like that. And, like that's what I really love. So if I was to lose that, like then we're talking about a different conversation. Like I don't know how I would come to grips with that. So yeah, identity crisis, but you move on, you move forward.
Not being able to move your body, bro. I
Bro,
again
blessing, blessing.
talking
Little
about,
things.
yeah, bro,
Yeah.
like this,
Hmm.
this little whatever it is in my back. I don't know what it is, but it's I tried to hold the plank yesterday and it went and it was excruciating
Hmm.
pain and I was like, oh, not
Hmm.
excruciating. That's I'm being Cuban right now. I'm over exaggerating. It wasn't excruciating. It was just I had a little bit of pain. I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that. And it's like listening
Hmm.
to your body and it's just
Hmm.
being grateful for having that. You got to be
Always,
grateful
man.
for your body. Invest in your body.
Hmm.
That's why the place that you go to with all the rasta boys, them rasta boys, they give you that stuff, bro, because it's healthy. You look at,
Yeah.
bro, you look at that stuff and those people. And I was talking to my dad the other day. He goes, if you look at somebody who is extremely old, they're
Hmm.
usually not overweight, right? It's
Yeah.
usually people that are active, that are
Hmm.
walking, mobile, able to take care of themselves. Usually, more often than not, it's people that eat healthy, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
thinner, right? So it's for
Hmm.
whatever reason, it is what it is. Genes, intake,
Hmm.
it's all these things just to be grateful
Hmm.
for. I
Yeah.
have a question that you were talking about earlier too. Sorry, I
Got
didn't. Do you want to say a thought before I keep
it.
going?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like you really see it because you made a very important point, like in your parents nowadays. So like you for your dad, like I was able to meet George's dad a couple of times. Like my father, I kind of
Goat,
like,
goat.
we all look at them as like Superman, bro. Like Superman, they can't break. But like us being in our 30s now, like they're probably like in their 60s somewhere, something like that, right? So like they're starting to get a little bit older. You kind of like see them breaking down a little bit, and it's like, damn, like I don't want that to be me, even though I know that's a natural transition in life. But like, if you can delay it longer and longer, like you feel better about like
Yeah,
where you are and like what you're doing for your kids and stuff and your grandkids and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So, 60 is not bad to be like breaking down and changing a little bit, but like, hey, if you can be 70 years old and still fit and still doing this stuff and still running around with your grandkids, like that's great. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, that's the kind of stuff that also keeps me going too.
And
It's
we're
crazy we think of
blessed.
that stuff now.
Oh, bro, 100%. I was gonna say we're blessed to live in this time because they were men of a
Yeah.
different era. They were
Oh,
thinking
bro,
about different
100%.
things, eating different things.
Yeah.
They weren't that wasn't on
Yeah.
their mind. Like
Yeah.
coming up on their mind, it was. I think there was a much higher sense of survival.
Hmm.
Just speaking from my dad's 80, so and
Yeah.
he's
Damn.
killing it. He is
Dude,
All right.
like,
he's
but
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to
no.
ask both of you this question. What's the last conversation you had with your father specifically that you never thought you would have, or you just never had when you were in your 20s?
hmm, that's a great
Oh
question.
shit, that's a
Yeah, that's a
great
deep
question.
question.
That's a
Yeah,
deep
the bark.
question.
Thank the bark. The bark prompts the questions.
We're gonna
What's the
need Chris to like help us
conversation?
co-host. We're gonna have to have Chris come on like a video clip and just
New.
ask like a question of the day for
Nah, bro.
episodes.
I just gotta ship
Wow,
y'all some of
bro.
this, and y'all just the
Yeah, dog.
questions
You
just
should just
slide.
come in for that segment. Just that segment and ask that
I'd
you
be like
should
a
just
slide,
listen
like
to listen to the
Yeah.
entire episode like you're like the audience member just listening and then we'll be like, "Okay, and
Mm.
actually we have a question coming in from
Yeah.
Bark right now." And then you'll just slide in and you just ask the question then you leave and everybody's like, "Oh my god, bro. Damn, what's a
like a little cloud,
conversation?"
like a little cloud.
Well, I don't know if this isn't something that I didn't expect to have, but it was when did I get married? Last year, right? In May.
Mhm.
And I think it was more so my dad giving me advice as to marriage and
Mhm.
marriage. And the way that he described it was marriage is like a lottery. Okay.
Mhm.
And,
Mm.
him and my mom have been together for close to 30 years now. And he goes, you know why we're successful is because her and I are the same people that we were when we first met, which I'll get to what I took from that in a second. But he goes, in a relationship, you know, people grow, right? And sometimes they grow like this and sometimes they grow out. And it's not that they're bad people. It's just that, you know, they just have grown apart, and it's something that happens. And you got to take that risk when you're getting married. And I go, well, yeah, it's like the lottery. He goes, yeah. And I said, but you have to play, right? He goes, absolutely. If you don't play, you'll never know if you hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
You have to play. You have to play the lottery in order to understand if you win or not. And what I took from what he said, which was, you know, your mother and I are the same people from back then, was don't forget why you guys came together in the first place. What initially attracted you guys together? Don't ever forget that spark, that thing. For instance, for me and my wife, I'll never forget what it was. It was the first night that her and I hung out. It was like our unofficial first date. She made me laugh. And it was in a way that nobody had ever made me laugh before. It was sort of that laugh that I realized, oh, wow, laughing is the most important thing in my life to me. I never realized that until right now. It kind of clicked in my brain. So, yeah, I don't know if that was a conversation that I didn't expect to have with my dad or not, but that's kind of the first thing that just came to my mind. Yeah. You know, and also something else that he told me too, because I want to. One thing that I was going to ask you was about the pivot, because you said you're going to have to pivot soon. I'm in a major pivot in my life as well, and one of the things he told me, you know, because he's always about, you got to make money, you got to make money, you got to make money, right? And so we were having this conversation in the car one day, and he was going off like that, and then he turns to me and he goes, "But you know what? If you guys are happy, fuck it."
Yeah.
He's like, you're living your life. If you're happy, if you guys love the life you live, good. And I was like, wow, that was something I just didn't expect him to say then, you know, because he's like, there's so many people that have so much less that are so happy throughout their entire lives. That's all that matttters. I was like, wow,
that's real.
Those are my answers, and I'm stamping.
Marriage will prompt those conversations, bro. But I'm interested to hear George's. But yeah, marriage will prompt those conversations with your father. Blessing that your parents are still together, where he has the insight to be able to like give you that knowledge, bro. Because I'm in the same situation, but yeah, that's expected. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say like one exact moment. I would say maybe like two or three, and it's not so much of like what we were talking about. It was just how the conversation went. Where I'll be more specific. It's basically, to give more context, I'm much more similar in personality with my mom, and my sister's way more similar in personality with my dad. So I clicked with my mom at a younger age in different ways that I didn't with my dad, and vice versa.
Same.
But as I got older, I started to realize maybe I should start coming to my dad about these certain things, and maybe he might get upset about me or just not agree with like who I want to be or my lifestyle or just how I think. But I was like, I got to come to it for it, because he's a man. I'm a man now. Like, there's just certain things that you speak to certain people about, you know, that they'll understand a little more.
Yeah.
And I think what really surprised me the most is not really like what he said, because he still told me his truth, right? Like, he doesn't agree. And it's not nothing good or bad. It's just more of like choices. Like, it's just different choices. And I was super like happy that he was coming from a very understanding place. So that helped me understand more about life, of just like everybody's who they are, you know, like no one's right or wrong. It's just different, and it's just accepting of that. And I kind of lost like, I used to be afraid of my father as growing up. I used to be like, I used to like, you know, look at him and he was Superman, the guy, you know, strong dude, out, you know, says things with his chest. He's a man of his word. Like, his word is bond. Like, he's a people's person. He's selfless. And I really went from like being afraid of him to respecting him, and then understanding his struggle coming to this country from Colombia, and seeing why he is a certain way. I don't think it really fully answers the question, but it's just more of like what I took from those conversations of, wow, I didn't expect him to be this not upset about maybe something I'm coming to him about, or this like understanding. because he's someone that's very black and white. But he's grown so much too, you know, like he's someone that was very, like I said, black and white. This is what it is.
Mhm.
You know, it's my way or no way. If you want to be around me. And he's told me too, he's like, you've taught me so much, probably more than I've taught you. And it's like, I don't know if that can make sense, but,
Mhm.
and I think Isaac, you've seen it a lot, right? Like my dad was a very stern guy when we were kids, but now he's really like, I think now at this point in his life, he's really taking that victory lap in this portion, last couple years of his life. So I think that's one thing of just like, I'll take from my dad is it's like, we're not the same, but don't change who you are. That's okay if we're not the same. And he like accepts me for who I am, and I accept him for who he is as well. You know, like bygones be bygones, and nobody's perfect. So I mean, that's probably one thing I've expected from my dad is like he is who he's gonna be, but he has grown as well. And that I'll leave it at this: that like I've never expected him to like fully just be like, I don't like what I'm hearing, but you know what? That's who you are, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And then it helped me grow to realize like I'm okay the way I am. Like I'm not no bad person. I'm not crazy or nothing, and it's okay to think the way I think. So that's just pretty much like what I take from, I would say, like the 2 or 3 conversations. Not to get into too much detail because it's not really about what we talked about. It's like how we went about it. So that's kind of my answer to it. But that was a great question, man. Because that was like
that was a great question, bro.
Very
God.
Ask y'all next guest.
Taking a step back and
have you thought about podcasting? You would be a great podcaster.
Man, I'm just a talker. I'm just a deep thinker.
What's the answer to your own question? Do you have an answer?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about marriage stuff, but just to switch it up from what like you guys talked about, I think, and just staying on the topic of like health, my dad tore his meniscus 2 or 3 months ago. He fell in the kitchen. He fell in the kitchen from what I know, but you know, my mom and my dad, like they met, and you know, it might be a different story where they're just not telling me, and like that's between them, it's their marriage. But the conversation I had with him, because again, like your dad is always like your Superman. I was just like, yo, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on? And like, you know, I've never heard my dad say like, yo, this hurts. Like, you know, I'm unable to do this, or like walking up the stairs feels like this. So it's like, I was like, oh, wait, what? Like, you've never told me like anything hurts. I've seen you rub your knees before because hurt, but you never said like, you know, damn, I'm in pain. So that was a conversation where it was like, you know, the PT is essential, or like, have you been doing these sort of things to strengthen it? And kind of, you know, those conversations where it's not necessarily as heavy. But again, like my dad would have never told me he was hurting 10 years ago when I was in college, but you know, him 62 years old now, whatever the case may be, like for him to say like, you know, this doesn't feel the same, or it hurts when I walk long distances kind of thing. It's different conversation. So again, like not something you anticipate when you're 18 years old, but again, 30 years old now. I don't want to say my dad's on his last leg at all, but you know, he's transitioning and things don't recover and heal as fast. So that was eye opening.
Damn, I never thought of that, Chris.
Yeah.
My dad got hurt last week playing soccer, and now it's like I've seen him hairline fracture his leg, and he just laughs it off. But he's in pain. But now I see, like you're saying, like our parents are transitioning to a point where like Superman's taking off his cape a lot more now.
For sure.
You know, like
for sure.
And like allowing the sons to be a little more vulnerable around the people they love, because we're all older now too, so they know we're not going to worry like the way we would worry as maybe as a kid or as an adolescent. And then it's like we're still in that stage where we're like we're learning who we are and we're forgetting who we are, and they don't want to show the kinks in their armor because they're like, I need to show them the way until because I bet like I've talked to my dad. He says it, man. It's scary being a parent, man. He said he cried when he found out my mom was pregnant with my sister, and he was like, I was so happy, but just I was scared to death, you know, because it's just like life as you know it would not be the same, and you can't go back now. So it's like, damn, I never thought of that. Like, yeah, my dad began getting hurt left and right playing soccer. Because he's still like, I told him like, bro, you gotta warm up, and he's like, I know, I forget, I just get there and I want to start playing. And his pain tolerance is super high. But it's crazy to see like that transition, right?
100%. But think of these two things, like one, the fact that your dad is out, like still out there playing soccer, like now how many of your friends' fathers are out there physically active, still like doing stuff like that, like amazing. amazing, bro. And that's gonna get passed down to you. Like, look at your genes. Like, you still look like you're fucking 18 years old, which is crazy. But that's literally gonna be you. Like, it's a blessing. And then another thing, when like what I told my friends the other day is, and George knows all my friends, like Isaiah, Sean, like Sad, all those guys. We had planned a trip. I want to say this is June or July, or like whatever Father's Day is in June or July. I'm not too sure right now. But we were planning a trip to go to Mexico. And then I had told them, like, damn, like, yo, y'all planned this for Father's Day weekend. Like, I can't go. Like, I'm going to be with my dad. And they were just like, oh, bro, like, what, are you kidding me? Like, you bailing out the trip? But, like, how fortunate are you to have a father? Because, you know, a lot of my friends don't have fathers in their lives. And that was a moment where I was just like, yo, I'm able to, I can't go here because it's Father's Day and I got to spend time with my father. Like, you know, my wife doesn't even have her father right now. Like, here I am trying to make a plan with y'all because, you know, I want to hang out with the boys, but there's something more important in my life for my dad that like might not be around next year, or like might not be around the next 15, 20 years. So just a blessing, bro. Blessing.
Yeah.
For real. I don't mean to make you somber, but it's just like,
no, I love
Yeah,
it. This is not
bro.
somber. This is
yeah.
shout out to the family, bro. This is important. This is needed on a Sunday. God bless everybody.
Yeah. Amen.
Who has
Family's
family,
everything,
man.
bro. Family's everything.
It is. Family's everything, man.
It
That's the whole
Yeah.
point of this, is to get to the
Your blood, but then also the people you choose to bring into your family to, you know, be like
100.
you
That's
guys are
also a
family
fact.
to me, you know. You
That's
guys are
also a
family
fact.
to me,
100.
so it's
Mm-hmm.
we're blessed, dude. We're definitely blessed. And
Yeah.
hey, how was Boz's wedding, man?
Boswell.
This is
Man.
Isaiah Boswell, by the way. Isaac, his name's Isaiah, the guy he just brought up.
Yeah.
So we call him Boz.
I thought you were talking about Brian Bosworth, the ex-linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks.
Nah, we weren't invited to that wedding. Bob's wedding was great, bro.
Yeah,
Great.
it looked beautiful, man.
Yeah, I always said like Boz is like, you know, my better half because we're like literally the same person, but he just doesn't make decisions I make sometimes. But yeah, like it was just amazing to see him reach that point and like be so happy, beautiful family.
Was it this year?
It was last year. Last year, I want to say July. Last year, July.
Damn, it was like this
So
year.
yeah, no, he's been married.
This year went by fast, man.
I know.
Bro, super fast.
I know.
Everything's been slingshotting since the pandemic. It's crazy.
And you know, the pandemic was like a 2-year pause period in life.
So
slow. You know, and I've been out here for 7 years. I'm going on 8 years, and then I remember, but I had a 2-year period where nothing was literally happening, which is wild. It was, I mean, I had a great lockdown is what I sometimes I feel bad saying it, but I really don't. It's because I had a great time. Me and Sky, what, bro? We were drinking so much, right? I was not healthy for the first part of lockdown. I was not healthy. We were ordering cake, eating cake, drinking wine, smoking spliffies on the balcony. It was awesome. We were
like
traveling.
Like a love story, like a movie.
It was. We got engaged during the lockdown, and then I was like, "Oh, I need to get in shape." And then I got into the best shape of my life. Literally, like right after, I was like, "All right, I'm gonna." That's kind of when I've worked out consistently since I was like 16, but then it was funny during the lockdown was the first time that I just said, "I'm just gonna try and get into the best shape I possibly can for my life." Amen. You know, and I've always been relatively healthy, but it's just that was one of those things. Yeah, bro. I had a great time during lockdown.
But yeah, that was wild. You think life is just like this last year has gone by so quickly. Like again, look at your 20s. You both just said like your 20s went by so quick. And I heard somebody say like if you think your 20s went by quick, like the rest of your life goes by even quicker. So, you know, you hear people talk about all the time, like when they have kids, like, oh, my baby was just 5 years old. Now you're about to graduate high school. Like life goes by literally like the older you get.
Yes.
And you can't go back in time. But shout out Sampha. Sampha's like one of my favorite artists. Like one of my favorites. Sampha's amazing. Me and my wife go to his concert every single time he's in New York or remotely in the area.
Isn't he on Too Much? Wasn't that Sampha was on Too Much?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy you mentioned Seinfeld because I was talking to Hugh, one of our friends, like literally 2 days ago, and I sent him that he's gonna be here in March.
Oh, bro,
He was like,
go.
For real? I'm like, let's go, bro. I have yet to see Seinfeld, bro. I want to so bad. And his live performances are here are like no other.
Incredible experience, bro. Band is incredible. Like he sounds the exact same. But on this last album, he has a song, and like one of the lyrics is like, "You can't go back in time, but you can move forward slower." Like meaning you can just
Wow.
appreciate those moments
Mm.
a lot more in that time rather than just like let them
Deep.
bypass. So yeah, that's what you can do. Just appreciate the
And
moments more.
there's that idea of when you're a kid, it seems like a year so long. Like when you're 10,
Yeah.
it seems like a year from 10 to 11 is so long because you have a
Mhm.
smaller sample size.
Yeah.
However, when you're in your 30s, you have 30 years of sample size. So 1 year seems to go by like that because you've
Hmm.
done it 30 times.
Yeah.
Versus when you're 10, you've only done it 10 times. And cognitively speaking, you've only been aware of it for 6 years or whatever it
That's a
is.
fact. That's a
Right. So it
fact.
feels like that 1 year is forever.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Hmm.
you get to this age, 30, 35, 40, and it's happened so many times.
Hmm.
And actually, this leads me to another key point that I wanted to talk to you about was the pivot in life. You mentioned that you're coming up on a pivot. You can feel a pivot happening, which is something that quite literally happened to me during Thanksgiving. I was presented with just a life pivot, and I had to really shift my priorities in a different direction
Hmm.
to understand where I'm going and why I'm going that way.
Hmm.
What's this pivot? You said that you feel it coming on. Why did you mention that pivot? Talk a little bit more about this pivot that you see happening in life for you coming up.
Well, the first thing I want to say, do you feel comfortable sharing your pivot? I know it's your podcast, but
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. No, I
yeah.
have no problem sharing.
I-
So I have a day job, right? I work for a contractor who installs roofs and they install solar panels as well. Now, I was getting paid for that job, and then they changed my pay structure, just for lack thereof a better way of talking about it. And with that change of the pay structure for myself then became a little more unstable.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty good about money. I've saved it
Yeah.
up, right? But now I have a wife. I get
Yep.
insurance through that company.
There
I
we
got to make
go.
sure that my wife has insurance. I got to make sure that we're okay, all these types of things. However, that's not what I'm destined to do in my life. I know it, and I've always known that the
Hmm.
crossroads is going to come eventually where I have to shift towards what I'm trying to do.
Hmm.
So I've always said that I'm an actor and I'm a writer, right?
Hmm.
And that job distracted me from that
Hmm.
because I became a slave to the weekly paycheck, right? I became a slave to having that financial stability in order to be able to take care of my home and my house
Yeah.
and not going after the thing that I want to do that's purpose filled inside of me with a certain sense of reckless abandon, right? Because of the
Hmm.
uncertainty. I've
Hmm.
always waited for the opportunity rather than myself go out and make the opportunity happen. And now God has presented me with this crossroads in my life where when they informed me that the pay structure was changing, I had that oh shit moment because I'm like, oh my God, this is a little more uncertain
Yeah.
for that job. What am I going to do? And then I had this overwhelming sense of calm in just trusting in the path.
Hmm.
Right now, when I was younger, one of the biggest things that I had an issue with when I would go to church would be people like saying, I didn't have any money to pay for my rent, and then God provided me with a check for 6 months, but
Hmm.
they didn't do anything getting off the couch. Right. That was
Yep.
like the thing that I always had a big issue with.
Hmm.
And as I've gotten older, I've learned to turn off that sort of judgmental portion of that and listen to what the actual message is for me. And the message for me
Hmm.
was just trust, right?
Hmm.
If I'm going to trust in this path, even though I can't see 1,000 yards down, I can see 10 yards in front of me and I
There
have
we
to
go.
walk. And when I
There we
continue to
go.
walk and do the work,
Hmm.
another 10 yards in front of me will be shown again, right?
Hmm.
So I won't know what's on that straight and narrow, whether I have to go up, down, all around until I start walking it. So basically, the crossroads led me to I've just been writing like a madman because I have this idea that I really am looking forward to like getting out there, and I have connections, but I haven't utilized those connections. I've
Hmm.
been, submitting myself like crazy. I've just been really going all in on the lifestyle of an artist, right? And there
Hmm.
has to be a certain point in which you jump off the cliff. You just have to.
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, I've just always been a little tentative about doing it, even though I moved out here, even though I've had relative amount of success. And that crossroads has led me to be like, okay, this next decade, may look a little different from 20 to 30. This next decade is going to be a decade of, are you going to go for it? Like you were saying, that margin of error is a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to go for it, or are you going to continue to just rest on your laurels with that convenience of, you know, making sure that everything is okay consistently versus fucking just going for it? And then at the end of the day, just trust the path, because no matter what, I know I'll be okay. I was just scared of going into that foggy road. So yeah, anyways, that's been my shift has really been in like, all right, I'm good. I have a cushion that I've set for myself from working hard for the foreseeable future. I'll be okay. So I got to fucking go all in and really just dedicate myself to that, because otherwise I won't know. I really won't know. So this is the first time in my life that I felt like I'm actually taking mind,
when did that pivot start
body,
hitting
soul.
you?
I mean, I knew I've known that this was going to happen probably for the last year. I had the idea, I had the feeling, but it wasn't until Thanksgiving when my brother-in-law asked me. He was like, "Hey, if I gave you $100,000 right now, what would you do with it in terms of the film industry?" And I couldn't give him a straight answer. And that's when he said, "See, that's your issue. You don't have clarity. You got to have clarity. If somebody asks you that from floor 2, you're in an elevator going up to floor 10, you better have 8 different answers right then and there. You better have an answer. You got to be clear, right? Because right now you have ambition. That's great. What separates you from other people? That's awesome. Ambition's great. There's a lot of people that are ambitious. What you have to become clear about what your purpose is. What is your plan? And I've always been meandering, you know, and I've been allowing all these opportunities to come to me, which has been really great. And I think that walking in a purposeful path, those opportunities are still going to come. Just continue to be, I just have to be a little more clear in my life. So that's what I sat down and I really have been mapping out a little bit more clarity in my life. So that was my crossroads.
Interesting, man. It's interesting because you say like that already happened like a year ago to you, and then like now Chris is like meeting that pivot, and then I'm like approaching that pivot.
Yeah,
but I'm interested what do you have to say, Chris?
I mean, Isaac nailed it, bro. Like it's all the same things, man. When I talk about pivot, I talk about career pivots and basically just like, you know, betting on myself rather than like relying on that stable income or whatever the case may be. Because like my friend group, you also have like a lot of different friend groups, right? But like, let's look at your friend group that has like the most resources or whatever the case may be. Like they all bet on themselves. Like they have this job, they have this different job. Like they're an entrepreneur, so they didn't necessarily confine themselves to like hey, I have to be having this 9 to 5, and they took a different path than normal than you were taught like growing up, and they are having success, trials and tribulations for sure, like on the way, but like ups and downs, and you know they're happy with what they do. So that's kind of where I am right now. But like to Isaac's point, you know, you pray for clarity and you look for a distinct sign, and it's like if you want something, like God's not always going to, and I saw this like on a movie too, and I reposted it because it was so real, but like God's not always going to give you, like if you pray for clarity, like God doesn't just give you clarity, right?
Is the Bruce Almighty, are you talking about the Bruce Almighty scene with Morgan Freeman? Yeah, bro.
Yes. My
I know
sister sent me that, and I was like,
exactly what you're talking about. Patience, he's not going to give you patience. He's going to give you an opportunity to be patient. He's going to give
you the opportunities, exactly. And you just got to notice like those scenarios in your life where it's like, yo, I'm giving you the opportunity to like bet on yourself and like venture out.
And it's an uncomfortable opportunity.
It's uncomfortable,
not like
but
it's right there in your hands. Like
the opportunity's there, and you know, it might not always work out the way you envision it to work out, but it works out according to God's plan. That's all it is. Like, you know, so don't just pray for that. I want this, I want that, because it's not going to necessarily just pop up. Like the opportunity to get it is going to pop up, and you gotta reach out and take that risk and attain it rather than just like go get it. So that shit is so real, man. And you know, for me, moving along my 30s and like the rest of my life, like that's what I have to realize. But also, Isaac, for your point too, you know, you're the head of a household right now, like you're married. Also, just have the wherewithal and like ability to realize like even though you're the head of the household, like now you have a significant other, which means like you're never alone with the decisions that you make for positive, not just for negative. Like, yeah, she depends on you, but at the same time, you can afford to take a risk because like your significant other, like she has you, like she has your back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what she signed up for essentially. So you can afford to like stumble, and I'm not saying make a mistake or anything like that, but like stumble a little bit and like get on the right path because like your significant other like has your back, and like whatever you go through, like she goes through too, and you have more of a cushion than if you're just out there. You know, I'm gonna bet on myself, and damn, I lost $100,000 right now. Like, damn, I'm down. Like, no, you didn't because you know your wife has you. So that's a luxury. It's a luxury that I didn't necessarily realize until maybe like the later half of the year. So it's a blessing.
It's fire.
Yeah, man.
That
That's
was,
fire.
I agree, bro, and thank you for that. I really
For real.
do appreciate that. This is a book.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's backwards, but I've been reading it lately.
No, you're good.
Is it
The
from?
obstacles.
Okay.
Put it more centered. Put it more centered.
The
The
obstacle's the
obstacle's the
way.
way.
Let me write that down right now.
The obstacle is the way. And this guy, Ryan Holiday, shout out Ryan Holiday. He has a podcast as well, but the Daily Stoic is what
Mhm.
his
Oh,
his
yeah,
thing
huh?
is. Yeah, you probably I know you've probably heard of him, George. Daily Stoic, but
Yeah.
there's something in here. A lot of it is all about perspective, bro. And we're gonna wrap up pretty soon too.
Yeah. I
But
know I gotta go. I gotta go food
one
shopping too with my wife. So.
yeah, there's this power and perspective. And I always used to be a guy who was like, manifestation, man. Okay. But I really believe in the power of manifestation. And what I mean by that is what you say you become, what you think you become, right? And you know, one of the verses in the Bible that I love is God talks about, I'm going to butcher and paraphrase it, but I can only do for you what I can do through you. So what's inside of you, your thoughts through you are your thoughts and what you're doing. And what I was going to say about perception is there's this one part of this book where he was talking about George Clooney, and how when he first came out to LA, he was having a hard time getting cast, and he was blaming the system and the casting directors and the producers until one day he realized, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be the solution to their problem, because casting, they have a problem. They need to find somebody. So it's not going to be the other way around. I'm not going in there and they're the solution to my problem. I'm going to be the solution to their problem, right? I'm not going to be going in there groveling for a chance and an opportunity. I'm going to go in there and present myself. And he wasn't selling his acting skills. He was selling the fact that he was the solution to all of that problem there for that, right? He was going to be the solution to the pre-production when they were shooting and post-production when they're promoting everything. He had it covered. He's like, you guys don't have to worry about the lead because I know what I'm doing, right? And so it's just a subtle mind shift in certain things throughout the day in saying, I'm the solution. I am not, you're not going to be my solution. I'm going to be your solution, right? And it kind of comes across as an act of service. You are in service of others, right? And I think that you get rewarded tenfold when you're in service of somebody else. But just both of you guys both have it. Whatever it is, you both have it. Now it's just in that power of manifestation and believing that God is going to do it through you, and believing that you are the solution to whatever those problems are that come up against you, right? That obstacle, that's what's going to propel you to where you need to go. That's something else that's happened recently.
I feel like what you're saying is echoing that voice note you sent to Nick recently for the job opportunity he had.
Yeah, bro.
That voice note, it was funny at the end, but like it was like, you know, it was a hoorah in your humor, but it was like there was truth to it. You were like, you go in there and you just be yourself and you let them know that you're there and that they need you, you know?
And if that doesn't work, you just lay the wood on the table. and then they won't forget you. So that was,
There we go.
I'm just an idiot. I'm just, but you got to have some fucking fun, bro.
Bro,
All right,
you're saying slap him with your caveman.
oh, that's right. I said slap because he has, bro. This guy. Quick anecdote to our homie Nick. Shout out Nick. Congratulations,
Shout out
he got a
Nick.
good job. He has the most caveman looking hands you'll ever see in your life. I'll never forget, bro. He was Chris Barra used to tell the story. He was like
Heart
in
of
math
gold,
class,
man. That guy can take a
he
joke.
does. They were taking a math test and it was quiet. You know how when you're in high school or junior high and you're taking those tests, everything is dead silent. And
Yeah,
Chris said that
facts.
all he heard was "Ka, ka, 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 ka," and he turned around and Nick was cracking one finger. And he was just like, and he looked at his fingers, and I was like,
shit.
oh my God, this guy has
Oh.
caveman hands. What is he?
I
Then
forgot
we started
about
calling
that
him
story.
caveman.
I was trying to remember why you guys started
And this
calling
was
Damn.
in those Geico days when all they were doing was the caveman commercials. Oh,
Mhm.
man. I told him, yeah, just slap him with your caveman hands. They won't forget that
We love
either.
you, Nick.
Yeah, we love you, bro.
Can't
All
wait
right,
to see
dude,
you, bro.
let's wrap this bad boy up. This was fast.
Yeah.
An hour 15. This was amazing.
man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about wisdom. Thank you for
What an
providing us with
episode. What an episode, Chris.
wisdom.
Mm.
Yo. So let's wrap it up. I don't even know if we asked this last time. I'll ask my question, then GM, you can close it out.
We did. We'll
I
ask
al-
it again, though.
Yeah,
Let's hit it.
I always
new
like
day.
to ask. This idea of a steel tissue has always been inside of my head, which is a tissue can wipe away blood and a tissue can wipe away tears, right? So it services a lot of different things. So what are some things, or just, doesn't have to be some things, it can be just one thing that has made you the most resilient in your life and the most vulnerable? Because I think they kind of go hand in hand sometimes. So I always like asking those questions.
Damn,
It's tough. This is such a tough question.
I know.
Nah,
It doesn't have to be
I
deep.
mean,
It doesn't have to be deep.
I'm just a deep person, bro. That's just
Good.
how am.
I know. I
Like,
figured. I was just trying to take the pressure off.
Uh,
Fuck it. Go for the pressure, baby.
I think for this year specifically, the things that have made me most resilient and vulnerable are conversations, number one, that I had to have with my wife, where, like, again, she views me as her Superman, that I just had to confess up and just, like, tell her, like, yo, I'm dealing with this. This is not, I'm Superman, but, like, I'm struggling hard with this part of my life, and I never really want to tell you about this, and, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's been some of the most vulnerable things for me that have ultimately, like, it was hard, but have prepped me for the next level. And then in terms with that, like, I recommend therapy for everybody. Like, this was my first year going to therapy, and I will say, like, that has been a moment of, like, reckoning for me to just be able to, like, tell somebody who has no bias, no preconceived notions of you, doesn't know you from the next person who's a stranger, being able to tell them where you come from and, like, your point of view, and then being able to tell you, like, what they think about you without even knowing you, has been, like, a uplifting point for me to, especially, like, we talked about the career stuff all the time, like, taking that next step. And I will say flat out, like, my therapist said, like, yo, you're scared, like, you like, you
Damn.
basically, I don't want to say you pussy, but, like, you're scared to take that next step. Like, you rely so much on other people, and not rely on other people, but, like, you are afraid to step out of your comfort zone when you have all the resources and the things to excel. Like, stop being so scared and just, like, go out there and just do it. And I don't know you from crack on the sidewalk, but, like, from what you told me, I can just deduce that you are scared and you need to step out your comfort zone and just, like, go out there. So those sort of things have been great for me. So yeah.
That's real, bro.
You got it, bro. You got it. I don't know
We
what
got
you're
it,
going to
man.
do,
We got it.
but you got it, bro.
I
Seriously,
appreciate you, man.
you're an
Isaac, I knew
amazing
the moment I met
I
him, man.
appreciate
I
you.
knew it.
You're an
I
amazing
appreciate
you.
guy, bro. You got it, dude.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You-
We all got it. We all got it.
No, I know, but just right now, accept your flowers. You got it, bro.
Thank
Seriously.
you. Thank
I
you.
love you,
Whatever,
bro.
yeah,
Amen.
you got something inside of you that is very complex. And
Yeah.
that complexity oftentimes does not manifest itself physically or simply, but you are able to connect. So you
Yeah.
got something in there that services something
Mhm.
in the world that is needed. That's all. That's sincerely just something that I know. You're a very unique individual,
I
profound,
appreciate you. I
profound,
appreciate you.
man. Seriously, man. All right,
I knew it,
GM.
man. Right when I walked on that hallway and I heard "Watch the Throne," I was like,
Big
Oh,
facts,
was it
man.
Otis?
It's,
What was
Big
playing?
facts.
Was it Otis?
I don't
That's
probably
my jam,
Otis.
though.
He was playing it from front to back.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was getting
Oof.
settled into his dorm.
I don't
Doom.
know.
And I was like,
doom,
that's a
doom,
fire
doom,
album, but who's
doom,
really gonna be playing this
doom,
album this
doom,
loud
doom,
right now, like
doom.
That's a fact.
unapologetically?
I love
It's
that.
just-
I love it. I
I
love
feel
it.
like
And then
we always search for ourselves, but I feel like Chris, you know who you are, man. Like you've known since I met you, man. Like you've been
Both
so
of us, bro.
consistent. You've never changed, bro. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
cool as a
Both of
cucumber.
us, bro. Both of us, man.
But still
Same way, bro. Like
developing.
we
Still
Still going.
developing.
always new version of
Still.
yourself all the time, man. So just get familiar with those versions and keep excelling because you're a new person every single day.
Yeah,
Every single day, you learn something new every single day. So
preach.
Close it
All
out,
right,
George.
so if you don't remember, I'll just repeat it for you, Chris. So it's just fill in the blank, real simple. It can be face value, or you can go deep if you like. Take it wherever you want, but it's basically my name is blank and I am blank, or my name is blank and I blank. So I ain't gonna give. I'm just not even gonna give like an example because
Don't
I think
let
you
him
know
go.
where you want to take it.
Let him go.
damn. My name is Chris Cox, and I'm seeing the God in myself.
Oh my.
That's what I go with. That's what I go with.
Wow,
That bark, baby.
wow.
Nature. Nature's in all of us.
He said park. That's for sure. That's
That
what
was
it is.
beautiful, bro. This was
That's what it is.
oh man, this was so lovely.
Always, man. Always a pleasure.
That was
boys. I appreciate
thank
y'all.
you.
Bro,
Nah,
it's
thank
crazy. It was
y'all.
only an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. This is your moment, bro. Chris, what do you wanna, you got that camera there. Pretty much the only one that you have. So tell the world, anything you want, bro, what you got coming up. If you want to talk about anything, leave
We'll
us
put the
with,
link in the
your-
description if anything going. Yeah.
whatever, dog, whatever.
Now, I'm a firm believer in just, stay silent with your moves and just at this point take action rather than just like speak on it because speaking on it means nothing. You got to really like go about doing it. So I'm not just going to sit here and sell you some stuff. But I will say I'll just give y'all flowers. Y'all are incredible. Two incredible people. George, I've had the opportunity to know you for like the last 10 years. So you already know what it is, bro. But like Isaac, any friend of George is a friend of mine. And obviously this is my second time meeting you. So it gets better every single time. But
Yeah.
I love what y'all are doing here. Y'all have the ability to make something special. And then again, the last thing I'll say, I'll end it real quick, is no matter how often you speak to somebody, like it doesn't make them a friend. Just the intention of when you speak to them and how you're uplifting them when you do speak to them is the most important thing, man. So, y'all can reach out whenever. I don't care if I don't speak to y'all for the next year, next 4 years, or the next like 4 days. Like I got y'all. So
It's
Ditto.
always
Yeah,
been
man,
like that
that's
with you,
really
brother. It's always been like that.
Yeah,
Hey, now
for
my new
sure.
goal, one of my new goals now is I want you guys to meet in person, man.
I was gonna say, if you're ever in
Yeah,
LA,
for sure.
bro, hit me up if you're in LA.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to go to New York too. My cousin just moved there, so I'm trying to go to New York soon.
Bro, say less. Whenever, man.
I'm down.
Oh
I haven't
my
been
God,
back for a
boys.
minute.
I got you. I
That
got you
was
up.
unbelievable. Love.
Always.
This is the Cafe con Podcast.